everybody, welcome back to Epic Beauty Fail. I'm Jessica. On today's video we're going to be doing day 4 of June's 5 days of foundation, and today we're going to be using the CoverFX Power Play foundation. This is fairly new. I think it just came out like a month or so ago. I did pick it up in the early April Sephora VIB sale, so that's when I purchased this. So I've only had it for a few weeks, and I'm trying it out now. So let's go ahead and get started. On my face, I do have the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water, and then I have the Hydra Touch primer from NYX just on the outside of my face, similar to what I did yesterday. And I have the Professional on the interior of my face, my nose, around my mouth, this area here. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the CoverFX website and tell you a little bit about this foundation. So here are all the colors. There are 40 shades in this foundation, which is really good. I did pick up the color N10. I did swatch this in my Sephora, and I figured that N0 was just a little bit too pale for me. Doesn't happen often, but every once in a while I do find a shade that's just a little bit too pale. This is a neutral undertone, hence the N10. But I'm going to go ahead and read you some of the details from the website. So this says that it is a modern matte foundation with weightless full coverage that provides sweat-proof all-day wear, powerful shine control, and environmental protection. Now, I don't know that I'm going to sweat too much today because it's not super hot, but it is raining pretty hard. So it doesn't say it's waterproof though. So we'll see how it stands up to some rain. What it does, it's available in 40 diverse shades. This liquid foundation has buildable foundation to full coverage with a modern matte finish. I'm not sure what modern matte finish means. Loaded with a trio of ultrafine powders that control shine and visibly blur imperfections, it stays on skin all day without dulling or drying complexion. That's interesting. I may not have to powder this. Why we love it. Power Play foundation is sweat-proof, waterproof, transfer-proof, and provides all-day wear. It is vegan, cruelty-free, and free of talc, oil, fragrance, parabens, and gluten. So it is waterproof. We shall see. Like I said, it's raining here today. It tells you about choosing your shade from light to deep, pink, neutral, golden undertones. Like I said, I chose a neutral undertone, and I typically will do that. I'll choose a neutral over a pink. I did actually swatch all three. My Sephora that I went to had all of the shades available. Actually, the only one that they did not have was this shade right here. So what I decided to do was I swatched the one shade up, one shade down, and then I swatched the pink and golden undertones in the 10 shade, and I came up with this as my preferred shade. So, it says it's best for combination to oily skin types. For brush application, place a small amount of product on the flat top of the liquid foundation brush and apply to the face until well blended. Set with loose powder or for optimum wear. Okay, so it does say set with powder. I'm glad I read that. Can also be applied with fingertip tips or a makeup sponge. I do have the CoverFX setting powder, so I will use that. And this does have 4.8 out of 5 stars. And I don't think it says how many stars or how many ratings it has, but that's just on the website itself. So we're going to go ahead and, I'm not sure if the microphone's picking up the rain, but the rain just started hitting really hard. I do have my Flower Beauty sponge, which I will be applying on the right side of my face, and then I have my Sigma Flat Kabuki F80. I'm going to be using it on the left side of my face. I already told you what's on my face already, so let's go ahead and get into the foundation. It does say shake well. And I did open this just to take a look at what it was. It is, I'll show you here in a second. So I'm going to shake it up a little bit more. It does have 1.18 fluid ounces, just a little bit more than what is typical. This does not have a pump. It does not have a paddle. It's actually like a dropper. So the problem that I have is that air does get in there. And you can see, hopefully the camera will pick it up, that some of it starts to come out the top. So, yeah. That is my biggest complaint with this, is that it just starts to come out. So I'm going to put that much on my hand for now. And we're going to go ahead and start in, I think, with the sponge and pick some of that up. And let's go to town. It does have a smell. It's not horrible, but it does have a smell. All right, so I seem to pick up like the exact amount that I needed. And it's doing okay. It's not full coverage, but it does say that it's buildable. So I'm going to go ahead in with the brush on the other side. And it is a little bit thicker of a consistency. I'm not sure if you guys can see that it is starting to run down, but not like really quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and put my brush on this side. And definitely getting a more fuller coverage with the brush. All right, so far I'm really liking this foundation, the way it's sitting on my skin. I got just a little bit more, and I'm going to build that up in just a couple of spots where I feel like I need a little bit more coverage. It's just a couple of little spots. Blending it in. And I feel like it doesn't matter, on both sides look very similar with the brush and the sponge, so I'm not too worried about that. I would say you could use either one. For me, at least, with the way it's sitting on my skin, it seems to have done a pretty much even job on both sides. I am going to just tap my nose a little bit. Well, I'm having a little bit of problem on my nose. For some reason, it just doesn't want to stick to my nose. And sometimes I have that problem with foundations, so. Okay, so far I'm actually really liking this foundation. I'm liking the way it looks. I feel like it matches my skin pretty well. My neck's a little bit red up here, but down here, I feel like it's actually matching me really well. So it does make me look a little bit pale, but I think that's just because I'm used to seeing myself with redness. So I will fix that with some powder and such. We'll get that worked out, some bronzer and so forth. So, all right, let's go ahead and check the time. The time right now is 11:08, and I'm going to go ahead and powder this. I do have the CoverFX setting powder. I'm going to go ahead and powder that right now. I'm going to put a little bit of concealer on my under eyes, and then I will powder my face. So most likely the check-in time will be about 11:15, which was my check-in time yesterday as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of my makeup on my face, and I will be back in just one moment. All right, everybody, I am done with my makeup, and the time is now 11:32. So like I said, I'm going to call check-in time around 11:15 because that's when I got like all the powder on my face. Speaking of powder, I did use the CoverFX. This is the Translucent Light Perfect Setting Powder. It didn't really feel like it was going to transfer anyway, but because the directions said go ahead and set it, I did go ahead and set it. So that is what I use for powder. On my face makeup, I used the Hourglass Ambient Edit 3 for my bronzer, which was this shade right here, and then I dipped into both blushes, similar to what I did yesterday. And then for my highlighter, again, I used the Hourglass Metallic Strobe Lighting Palette. I used the pink and cream shades. I probably just need to use that chocolate shade, see how it looks on my skin. Sometimes it looks okay, sometimes not so much. All right, on my, my concealer, I used the Catrice Liquid Camo in the shade, what shade is this? It does not appear that it has a shade on it. How is that possible? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong end. It's on the top. 010 Porcelain. So this is the porcelain shade. I'm liking that so far. This is the first time I'm using that concealer, and so far I'm really liking it. It's definitely in my lines, but it's not as deep or making me look as crepey as like some other concealers that I've used. On my eyes, I have my MAC Painterly Paint Pot as my set, and then my Soft Glam palette. This is actually the first time I'm using it. You may or may not have seen it. I don't know what films or what videos I'm going to film between now and the time this video posts. So you may or may not have seen this before, but this is actually the first time I'm using it. And so far, I'm kind of liking it. What colors do I have? I have Tempera as my base. I have Sienna in the crease, Cypress Umber on the outer corner and underneath my eyes. And then on top of my eyelids, I have the Rose Pink shade on the outer side and Fairy on the inner side. I actually put Rose Pink all over my eye and then put Fairy on top of it. So that's everything that I have on my eyes as far as shadow goes. I have the Benefit Roller Lash as my mascara. And on my lips, I have my NARS Audacious lipstick in the color Anita. I like this lipstick a lot. If you can see, I've actually worn this one. I like this. I actually have two of these. I have this one, and then I have one that's a little bit peachier. But because I'm wearing pink and my eyes are pink, I wanted to go with a little bit pinkier color. But I do really like this. I've heard people say that it's similar to the Lamarque lipstick from Marc Jacobs. I've never tried that lipstick, so I don't know. But I can say that I really like this. I only have two of the shades. It's a little bit more expensive of the lipstick there. So I think that's everything I have on my face. I did not put setting spray on yet, so I'm going to do that real quick. Give this foundation the best shot at working with the rain outside. Okay, so far I have like one issue with this foundation so far. If you saw yesterday's video where I used the Physicians Formula new one, the Healthy Foundation, I didn't have any problems with this creasing or setting into lines and such on my face. I'm going to zoom you in and show you what this one's doing. So I think it's looking pretty good on my cheeks, on my forehead. Once I got it going on my nose, it looks like it's pretty good on my nose. But one of my major problem areas is my chin. Can you see that? Like right in here where it's kind of cracking. For some reason, the Physicians Formula yesterday didn't do that, but this one's doing it. So, but feel of this foundation, it feels really nice on my skin. I don't feel like I have anything on. No, I did not build this up to high coverage. I would say it's a good solid medium coverage though. But I'm liking the way it's feeling on my skin, to be perfectly honest. I like the way it looks for the most part, with the exception of that chin. But it looks pretty good overall on my face. It looks pretty good overall. It's just the chin area that's the problem for me for a lot of foundations. Right now, like 20 minutes into wearing it, I'm really liking it a lot. I'm really liking it a lot. I'm going to wear it for the rest of the day. I will check in somewhere around 3:30, unless I'm a little late, but I'm going to try to check in around 3:30 and let you guys know how I'm feeling about this foundation. So far, I'm liking it a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and get going. I have lunch to go to today with some family. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Yeah, my major problem area is my chin and my nose. So, all right, I'm going to get going. I will see you guys in about 3.5, 4 hours. It is time for my midday check-in. Actually, I'm late for my midday check-in. It is 4:30, so I'm about an hour late. So I've had this on for a little over 5 hours, and I want to love it. I really do. But I'm still having the problem on my chin. And it's not just my chin. Like if you look here on my upper lip, it like really settles in to every, like over here, every single indentation in my skin it settles into. And maybe I'm just too harsh. Like I'm expecting it to kind of like smooth some of my imperfections. it being the foundation. I'm expecting the foundation to sort of smooth some of my imperfections, and maybe I'm just being too harsh. Maybe I should be a lot more forgiving, but I do have some foundations like that don't do this. Like this here, my chin. When I find foundations that don't do that, I'm really happy. So midday, it's looking good like from far away. Like I think from far away it looks really nice. And this is only like 3 feet. When you get really close up, it's not looking so good. Not looking so good at all. So, I don't know. I'm going to keep wearing it for another couple of hours. I'll probably take it off sometime around 7:30, 8 o'clock. But right now, I'm not super excited about this foundation. I really wanted to love it. I really, really liked it when I first put it on this morning. Maybe there's giving you a little bit better light. Really liked it when I first put it on this morning. But the longer I'm wearing it, the deeper it's going into my pores and my imperfections. And it's not like I used a bad primer. I did use a nice primer. I used the Professional, which I've used before, and I put some on my chin. It's still cracking, so I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and we're about to go have some dinner. It is Mother's Day today when I'm filming this, so I'm a couple weeks before it posts. But I'm gonna go ahead in and have some dessert. We actually made a reservation just to eat dessert. We'll probably have like salads and then dessert. So anyway, I will see you guys at the final check-in a couple hours. All right, guys, I am back, and the time is now 7:26. So I've had this on about 8 hours, and you saw my midday check-in. I wasn't real happy with the way this was sitting in a lot of my imperfections, and it hasn't gotten any better. I will say that it hasn't really gotten worse, though. I'd say that the most of it happened between putting it on and 4 hours. So if you can get past those first couple of hours and it doesn't really bother you the way it looks, it should be okay. Yeah. I mean, I still say from far away. So from like this distance, I think it probably looks okay. As I could tell in my other camera, I think it looks okay when you're at a little bit of a distance. Even when you're like a couple of feet away. So like even like here, like I'm looking in my mirror, which is right here. So you can see it's about half the distance between me and the camera. And looking in the mirror, I still think it looks okay. It's when you start to get within like a foot and a half of my face that you really start to notice it like breaking up on my chin and in all of my imperfections. I mean, I have imperfections. I just do. I have some pretty decent scars in and around here from acne that, I mean, they're there. There's nothing I can do about them. So I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you in, show you my chin again, and you can see what I'm talking about. So I hope the camera will pick this up. You can see here my chin. It's just really cracked. And that's just, I mean, I'm very animated, so I talk a lot with my emotions, with my face, with my just moving my face around. I move my face around a lot. I talk with my hands a lot. If you ever knew me in person, you would know that I talk with my hands a lot. So I'm a very animated person. So if I have a foundation that's going to sit in to lines and creases, it's going to happen on my skin because I am very animated. I move around a lot. I bite my lips. You know, I do that like all the time. So my skin is being stretched and what's the other word? Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Pulled taut and released like all the time. So, I mean, even like up here on my nose, you can see that like when I do this and when I relax, it's showing all these lines on my nose. That's just the way my skin is, and it's okay. I mean, the biggest thing is with foundation, you can really see it. On my day-to-day, when I go to work every day and I don't wear foundation, it doesn't really, you can't really see it. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I was really looking forward to some of those powder foundations. And I have some more. I actually have 5 more powder foundations sitting here on my table to be tested a little bit later in the summer. I think I might do those maybe for August. I'll do powder foundations again. Let me know if you're interested in seeing them. Like I said, I've got 5 of them sitting on my table right over here. So I definitely have 5 more days worth of powder foundations that I can review for you. And I do have a couple that are a little bit more full coverage than the ones I tried in May. But I don't think that they fall into creases as much as some of these liquid foundations do. Overall, though, I'm very mixed on this. So I've been talking about how it's gone into my creases. I'm very mixed with this because I think it looks nice. It has a nice finish. It's not too flat or matte. It's not too dewy. I think it has a nice finish to it. It's just that the cracking and stuff in some of my lines, I don't like. I think my cheeks look nice. I mean, I can still see my blush, my bronzer, my highlight. I think my forehead looks nice, even though I can see the lines on my forehead. I think that looks nice. It's just really my chin, but that's an ongoing problem that I've been having. So I would definitely use this foundation again, but I don't know that I would repurchase it at this point as a first impression. I will continue to wear it. I will continue to try it. I might actually mix it with yesterday's foundation, the Physicians Formula, because I don't feel like this changed color at all. Like, if you look at my neck and my face, I don't feel like this changed color at all. Like, at all. So the shade on this worked really well for me. It did not oxidize. So maybe if I mix this in with a little bit of that Physicians Formula from yesterday, because I really did like the finish of the Physicians Formula. I just didn't like the shade, how it ended up looking. Maybe if I mix those two together, it might work. I don't know. I'm going to give that a try. So that's it for my first impression of the CoverFX Power Play Foundation. Don't really have anything else to say about it right now. I'm impressed on one hand, but I'm disappointed on the other. So anyhow, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up down below. If you haven't already and you would like to be, please hit the red subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell to notify you when I do upload new videos. And if you have any comments, leave those in the comment section down below. I do try to respond to every comment. I am a few weeks behind right now, but I do still try to respond to every comment. So I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next Epic Beauty Fail. Bye.